Good morrow, lovely little ghosts, and welcome to the Dark Orchard for Laura Watson's 13 Days of Vlogoween.
Thanks, Mr. Vampire. Let's get this started. Happy Halloween, everyone.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Today is the first day of Vlogoween. I'm going to be discussing my top 13 favorite scary movies. I think you'll get a good idea of what kind of horror movies that I enjoy from the movies on this list. So I've done a top 13. And honestly, this list could be a mile long. I could have over 50 different ones. But these are movies that I can watch no matter what time of year it is, and I really enjoy them and have watched them hundreds of times already. So I tried my best to narrow it down, and I think I've picked my absolute top 13. Coming in at number 13 is Carrie.
Tell that boy you're not going home. We're going to move from here. No. You'll move from here and you'll never see that boy again. The rain's coming in.
Mom, please sit and talk to
Let it
me.
close the
Mom,
window.
Mama, I'll get him. Please sit and talk to me.
Carrie was the very first scary movie that I ever saw. I love the remakes too. I haven't seen a Carrie remake or a Carrie sequel that I haven't enjoyed. Coming in at number 12, The Corpse Bride.
I spent so long in the darkness, I'd almost forgotten how beautiful the moonlight is.
There are a lot of Tim Burton films that belong on this list. I think it's so absolutely beautiful, and it does have that horror tinge to it, where a lot of the Tim Burton films just are gothic in nature. Corpse Bride takes it to another level with the whole afterlife thing, and I just really love it. Coming in at number 11, right here on the verge of its 1-year anniversary of its release, released on October 13th of last year, American Satan, starring Andy Biersack.
But I have my own free will.
I'm sure I could do this.
This dark energy. Enough with the gimmick.
You will keep coming back over and over.
That's the spirit, man.
I could make an entire video just on American Satan, and if you want me to, I will. I actually hosted an American Satan panel, but I feel like it belongs on this list. I watch it just about every day, and I love it. On top of that, it was actually released right around Halloween, so I just sort of associate the two. Coming in at number 10 is Zombieland.
What are you looking for?
Nothing, I just, I have this list. No. You should actually limber up as well. Especially if we are going down that hill. It is very important. I'll catch up. Rule number 22. When in doubt, know your way out.
I love this movie. And I know, zombies, not my thing. But Zombieland is just like that perfect mix of horror and comedy. And it has that little bit of feels in it. It's just an all-around wonderful movie. If you have not seen Zombieland, give it a try, because I was terrified to go see it. I actually was dragged to the theater kicking and screaming, saying I am not going to go see a zombie movie, and I for sure am not going to go see a zombie movie in 3D. But I did anyway, and I don't regret it. I absolutely love it. I own it on DVD. It's one of my absolute favorite horror movies. My number 9 slot goes to Friday the 13th.
weren't doing anything. We were just messing around.
Must be my imagination.
Friday, the 13th. You may only see it once, but that will be enough. Friday, the 13th.
Jason is my favorite classic horror character. I do enjoy most of them. There's maybe one or two that I didn't fully appreciate. I even love the Jason Origins movie with Jared Padalecki.
Look, I just came here to ask you something, okay? I'm looking for this girl. Have you seen her? She's been missing for about a month.
I wish I had, man. I ain't seen her, though.
Thanks.
Take care.
You too.
And no, not just because it stars Jared Padalecki. It's actually a really cool explanation of what the non-superhuman Jason went through to attack his victims. And I really enjoy it. And that's why I like most Friday the 13th. Number 8 is the severely underrated film, Cursed.
Ever since the other night, things are happening. Things I can't explain.
Last night, a young woman was attacked and killed.
Cursed is a werewolf movie. I'm also not a big werewolf fan, but this was fantastic. But the storyline's beautiful, the music is amazing. The opening song was by Bowling for Soup. It's an all-around really interesting movie. You have the teenage angst involved in it, you have a good storyline. It's just a great film, and honestly, I feel like it should be higher up, but I have so many other favorites. Let's just go ahead and say, except for number 1, none of these are in a, like, dead set particular order. Number 7 on my list is My Bloody Valentine, starring Jensen Ackles. My Bloody Valentine has such a good storyline, and it's shocking. This was actually sort of a reboot of the original, but this version I absolutely love. It has so many twists and turns, and there's no stone left unturned. My number 6 slot goes to The Crow. Of course, the original Crow with Brendan Lee is my favorite, but I do enjoy all of them, and I feel like the sequels played into the Crow storyline very well, but the original, nothing can beat it. Number 5, Final Destination.
It's gonna explode!
Shut up, Brownie.
You're so not funny.
This is your idea of a joke. We tolerate
It's not a joke! It's not a joke!
Alex, take it easy. It's not a joke. Sit down,
It's
Brownie.
going down!
We will remove you from this aircraft and out with idiots.
Move myself!
Get up!
Just stay where you are. Just sit
These are some of my absolute favorite movies. I think they're so well thought out and brilliant, and the original one had Devon Sawa, which automatically gives it 100 points because Devon Sawa. I mean, he was Casper. I love absolutely anything that Devon Sawa was in, so of course Final Destination is on my list. But every single one of them is so meticulous and planned out, and there's so many Easter eggs connecting one storyline to the other. So yeah, Final Destination is my number 5. Number 4 is the goth opera Repo the Genetic Opera.
By the middle of the 21st century, organ failure had become a worldwide epidemic. But GeneCo was there to satisfy the demand for organ replacements. The problem is, if you miss a payment, GeneCo sends out the repo man. And when he finds you, your time is up.
This is a horror musical, and it's amazing. Some of the stars include Alexa Vega, Anthony Stewart Head, and Paris Hilton. The wardrobe, the songs, the sets, it's all just so aesthetically pleasing and so gothically gorgeous. Number 3 on my list, I do not consider to be a horror movie, but it is a staple Halloween movie that I feel like Halloween just isn't complete unless you watch this. Can you guess? My number 3 slot goes to Hocus Pocus.
Uh-oh. Sisters, did you hear what he called you? Whatever shall we do with him?
Let's barbecue and fillet him. Hang him on a hook and let me play with him.
No!
I can't think of a single year that I haven't watched Hocus Pocus. Ever. There's so much about this movie that I absolutely adore. And come on, who didn't have a crush on Thackeray Binks? Moving on to my number 2 slot. This one's a little strange. It's also a comedy horror movie, and that's Idle Hands.
Anton Tobias never had much on his mind.
Don't you think you should have like a goal? My dream life would be to lie around all day in bed and watch TV while some hot broad delivers me food.
And he always had time on his hands.
4 bodies have been discovered and the killer is still at large.
Until one of them got a mind of its own. Columbia Pictures presents
The police have no leads and the killer is still out there.
Idle Hands.
What? Devon Sawa's on this list twice? Yeah. Idle Hands, starring Devon Sawa and Seth Green, is a horror comedy. He goes to this big adventure with his possessed hand, and it's funny, and it's got a little bit of gore. It's got a great music score. It's an awesome movie, and it's very 90s relatable. And now we've come to my number 1 slot. My number 1 favorite scary movie that is a must-watch during the Halloween season. And I basically watch it no matter what season it is. Have you guessed? I'm sure you have. Maybe not. But have you? Seriously? My favorite, number 1 scary movie is Scream.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie. For instance, number 1, you can never have sex. Okay? Number 2, you can never drink or do drugs. The sin factor. It's a sin. It's an extension of number 1. And number 3, never, ever, ever, under any circumstances say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back.
I love every single one of the Scream movies. Don't get me started on the Scream series, but I love every single one of the Scream movies. 1 is an absolute masterpiece, all the way through 4. Just like Final Destination, everything ties in, everything's well thought out, it all makes sense, even if the plots were written after each other. It's just an absolutely amazing cinematic masterpiece, and I love them all. People will fight me on this, but I love every single Scream movie, and it's my favorite. It's my favorite. I love the killer reveal, I love that the movies are self-aware, and I love the Jamie Kennedy scenes. Everything about every single scene that Randy is in, I adore, and I think it was just brilliant when Randy is laying on the couch and they have him screaming at Jamie Lee Curtis on the screen, and he's just screaming Jamie, and his real name is Jamie, and it's just that one little plug in there that just makes me giggle every single time, and I think it's brilliant, and I think all the movies are brilliant, and if you've never seen Scream, you need to see Scream, because it's a Halloween staple. So there you have it, my top 13 favorite scary movies. Thank you so much for joining me in the Dark Orchard. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you around again soon. Say bye. Bye. Sweet boy. What's your favorite scary movie? What's your favorite scary movie, Bruce? Say when the bowl's empty. Say when the food bowl's empty. It's not really empty, I promise. Okay, bye. This was actually a remake or a reboot. Jason is my favorite classic horror character. And knows it just So if you haven't seen Repo the Genetic Opera, please go watch it right now. Just don't even finish the video, go watch Repo. Jason is my words, Laura. Jason is my favorite classic horror, not villain, non-superhuman Jason would do to go into killing people. And fun fact, leave the fun fact for your other video. So there you have it, my top 3.
Don't you blame the movies! Movies don't create psychos! Movies make psychos more creative!